Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to our Watchmen Season 1, Episode 1 Thoughts video. I just finished watching the pilot episode of HBO's Watchmen, and I'm going to be sharing my general thoughts on it. I will be talking about a couple spoilers from this episode, so if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to wait to watch this video. But yes, this is the pilot episode of HBO's Watchmen that I just finished watching on it. HBO on Crave TV here in Canada. But yes, so I just finished watching this. This is an adaptation of the graphic novel, not an exact kind of thing, but kind of that's kind of the jumping off point for this universe at least. And we're in this alternate universe where the police got to cover up their faces due to a terrorist organization that in the past had kind of, I guess, taken out some of the police at some point. So this is just a really interesting world we get brought into right away, and right away I was hooked from like the first few minutes, the way they introduce us into this world, into this Watchmen world, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought the setup was really great. I liked the way we kind of were just quickly thrown into some action with these characters, and we learned about the characters as they went along and through kind of a mission. So I liked that it wasn't, stop and tell us about the characters. We actually got to see them kind of in action, which the action itself was pretty great. I was expecting, I guess I was kind of expecting some action in this first one. It is the pilot episode after all, but I wasn't expecting quite a big action scene for the first one, so I thought that was pretty great. Again, some spoilers of this for this one. There was a couple really interesting things that happened in this one. At one point it seemed to be raining mini squids, which I'm just like, is that somehow a connection to the giant squid that was in the graphic novel? And they mentioned some kind of dimensional thing at some point, and so I really like that they're not just flat out telling us any of this. They're just kind of showing this stuff and making us kind of have to put it together ourselves, or kind of wait to find out answers to this stuff. So I like that they kind of set this up. They just kind of set it up subtly with just it seemingly raining some freaking squids, and that's just an everyday thing for them now. These mini squids that kind of dissolved right away. But anyways, that's not really the point. The point is I just thought that was a cool connection, and I like that they didn't really like straight up just explain it to us right away. They just kind of gave it to us, and we had to kind of put together ourselves. So I really enjoyed that. What else do I have written down? Oh, the pacing of this episode was really great. The fact that it was 45 to 50 minutes ish, surprised me. It felt really quick. It just breezed by, just getting this introduction into this world, getting like hooked in. I was ready for this to be a Netflix show that I could binge it, but that's just a sign of a good show that I'm excited to check out more of this show. One thing that did happen in this first episode that I wasn't really expecting so early on is that the kind of captain sheriff guy, he got killed right away, right at the end of this first episode. And I was like, oh, I thought you were going to be, especially since I got a connection to him, but I guess that was the point in this episode. They wanted us to be connected to him. He sang at one point. I always love a character who sings for no reason. Well, he had a reason, but he sang anyways, and then they killed him at the end, and I was just like, I wanted to see you sing some more. But that was just a little bit of a shock, but it did kind of play in this thing which I had read about or heard about in a YouTube video or something along those lines, but it was kind of thing about how a lot of HBO's biggest hits tend to have certain elements that like similar elements amongst all of them, particularly the pilot episodes, that being death, violence, and sex. And this one had all three of those in this one, so I definitely think this is going to be a hit. I really enjoyed this first episode, and I'm really excited for next week to come around to check out the next episode, see where this goes. I think from what I read, there's only going to be 9 episodes in this first season, which is a perfect amount in my mind. Not too long a season, but not too short, just a kind of perfect amount. And 9's an odd enough number that I'm like, okay, you guys just had this much story to tell, and ended up being 9 episodes, as opposed to them maybe stretching it to 10 or 13, or maybe like trying to condense stuff and make it 8 instead. I like that 9 seems just like random enough that it's probably suiting to the story they're going to be wanting to tell, which I'm excited to check out. But yes, that's all my thoughts on this first episode of Watchmen on HBO. What did you think of this first one? If you checked it out, sure, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching today. Sure, subscribe channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.